Hello, everybody! Welcome back to Fossils and Archaeology. Last time, we built the enclosure that I'm standing in right now. Off camera, I've done a little bit of work getting some materials together, including these plants here. I think we're going to put these down real quick. Maybe one here. One... Yeah, that grow there. One over here. One over in this corner over here. One like right here. And the last one can go... want to put it like right on top of another fossils plant, so I'll put this one here. And I'll move this guy over here. I've also done a bit of work putting together some other stuff outside the enclosure, which I'll show you really quick in a quick time lapse. See you in a little bit. And we are back! I hope you enjoyed that little bit of building. Off camera, you saw, but for those of us who didn't, I'm going to go through what exactly I did, talk about a little bit of my process. First off, I changed the entrance to the Dilophosaur enclosure. I didn't like it on the fence. I switched it out for more of a hidden entrance. I hid the outside here. Need to work on the tunnel, which leads into a little hard shelter cave for the Dyalla to go and hide in. I like it. She's kind of using it. She's got her head in it. I appreciate her putting her head in it at least. Make sure she's actually using it. I have also done a bit of work outside the enclosure, which is kind of prettying up the area around it, expanding my forested area from the house from last episode down to here. I added in more of these custom trees, I added in more of my custom tree ferns, I added in regular ferns, I added in bushes, and I also added in this little rock wall to continue the kind of geology going from the enclosure up to there, make it feel like this isn't just an enclosure it's not a fake wall, it's a real wall. But while doing all of that, I got some more resources, and then I realized I've got a bit of a problem here. Got a couple problems. First one is my food. I want more reliable food than baked potatoes. They kind of suck for food. They're good because they're so easy to get, but they're annoying because you're constantly having to chow down on them, so I kind of want food that's better. I also need more room for all my stuff. I'm running out of room on one chest wall. I don't really want to do the hidden basement thing. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. I want to keep this building, I want to clean this building up so that it's more of a finished product as opposed to just, this place where I've got all my stuff. So, in order to solve those problems and move these stupid horses out of my front lawn, I'm going to build a barn, a backstage barn, where I will have food production stuff, like I'll have animals, and I'll have storage. I'm going to be taking some of this. I've got a bunch of materials over there. Is all this converted? Nope, not quite yet. But we'll be using that stuff. That stuff makes your crops grow faster. And I will be putting it in the barn in the backstage area that I plan on building back here. Back here is where I want to put all my backstage buildings. I don't want to build them too close to everything, because then I gotta worry about like having them on top of the enclosures, and I don't really want the backstage area on top of my enclosures. I want to build more enclosures leading up to the backstage. So putting it here, I think this is a good spot for like a barn with maybe like a field for all the animals to wander out to. Would be a good idea. And then maybe on top of this hill, put some more production facilities, like maybe put an iron farm, put like stone production, bunch of that stuff over here. Maybe zombie in there. Ugh. Anyway, I think that's my best solution for my problems right now. I've got all my resources in here for the exterior. I'm gonna need to get some more for like the interior, but I think I'm gonna try and do that in a different way. The exterior, I'm gonna show you in a bit of a time lapse. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk you through the process. First up, I've got some foundations to lay down. Making sure to mark out how tall am I going to make this build? How wide am I going to make it? Where are the windows, the doors, everything else going to go? Next, I'm going to be filling it in with the wood, my choices of wood. I chose spruce because I think it accentuates the dark oak and the spruce logs pretty well. Next, I'm going to be filling in some of the top part of the barn. I'm going to be making sure to leave a spot for a big barn window like you normally see. Next, I've got roofing, deep slate tiles, kind of a pain in the butt to mine, but deep slate is one of the best block slates they've ever added. Regular deep slate tiles do wonders for a build, especially if you're using darker tones like with these spruce and dark oak logs. Add a tough accent to kind of mark out the roof and kind of break up some of that big dark deep slate. Next, I'm adding in some lanterns and some trapdoors to act as like barn shutters, act as lighting, act as just window shutters. All that kind of add these like barny details that you would see on a normal barn. Lastly, I'm going to be adding in a fence just to mark out the area for my animals and my crops. And we have returned! I have finished the exterior of the barn. I think it looks pretty good so far. You can see I've put a little place for the horses and any other animals over here on this side, and then on the other side I've got this nice little wheat field. I might add a few extra little touches, like maybe a silo or something back there, and then some trees to blend it in. But I wanted to start work on the interior. You can see I've kind of gotten a little start on this side, putting down a bunch of stuff you'd probably see in a barn on the ground floor. I was thinking maybe putting some rafters, maybe like a chicken thing or something up there. Was gonna put like horse indoor storage in here. And then in the basement here, hidden under here, I've done a little bit of work hollowing out an area. And I think this is where I'm going to start putting some of my automation stuff. As you can see, I've kind of done a little bit of work getting some little basic create machines together to kind of get some supplies for create together. Got some supplies in here for all of these cows. I'm going to put them in somewhere so they're not in the way and they're actually going to give me food. And then in here, I've got stuff for an auto crop farm that I'm going to hook up to this to automatically breed the cows, to automatically give me the food. I think it'll work. I want to try and make it look, the basement down here look nice too. But I might have to save that for another day. I am running short on time to finish this up. So, with that said, I think I'm gonna get this done and then I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I found a little bit of extra time and I was able to finish up the basement. As you can see over here, I have installed my auto farms. First, we've got the auto crop farm. This one is a bunch of mechanical harvesters attached to some wood that just spins around, constantly harvesting the crops, getting me automatic wheat and carrots. And then, some of the wheat is transported into this little device over here that I have installed through this water column here. Wheat goes in the hopper, into a deployer in the back here that automatically breeds the cows. And then because there are 24 cows, you just saw, one of them got entity-grammed. The meat falls through the chute onto this campfire, gets blown over the smart chute, and the smart chute only lets steak and leather through. Therefore, it just automatically cooks me cow. Never have to worry about food in this world ever again. I'm gonna have a chest full of steak and leather. Don't have to worry about feeding my herbivores anymore. There's a chest full of wheat and carrots over here. Bit of extra bone meal production with all the seeds that come from the wheat. Got this chest wall here, hooked up to a simple storage terminal. Haven't hooked it up yet because I still need to go get some diamonds for it. But I have hooked it up upstairs. I also went and decorated the basement to make it actually look okay. I think it looks alright. Are there some things I would maybe change? Yeah, maybe I would change some of like the blocks sticking out of the floor. But I think for a place I'm not going to be in super often, I'm just going to be going down here and grabbing supplies. I think it looks okay. I think over here I might add like, maybe the chickens over here, just so I have automatic egg production, so that I can use that for the biogoo. But I have also done some work upstairs, changed things around over here. I have put in the horse stable pens. I have added one for a cow for the milk for biogoo. Changed some stuff over here, got rid of the hay bales that were sitting over here. And then I moved them up here and put them in this storage area. Still have to figure out how I'm going to make these windows work. I might just keep them as like windows to let light in. These big barn windows are obviously for ventilation. But I think this is everything in the barn done. You can see I went very hard on using chipped blocks, these basket woven spruce planks, and these mixed spruce logs. And then over here, I've got some Farmer's Delight crates, I've got some regular hay bales, I've got some fruit barrels from Chipped, I've got lanterns from Chipped. I think Chipped really helped me find a style for this build that didn't look too similar to the build over there, but still kept that woodsy feel. I just noticed that I made a mistake. There is a log in the wrong position there. But I think all of that. This is the build. I'm going to be using it for the future. Obviously, I still got some decoration work to do outside of it, but I can always get that done at a later point. But for now, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful things that YouTubers tell you to do. They do help that people like me, smaller people like me, gain an audience, get some vital feedback on what we need to improve. Make sure you give me suggestions for the Dilophosaurus over there. She needs a name. And with all that said, take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.